Okay, Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone in our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So last time we were talking about Bhagavad Gita Chapter 2, text number 1 through 6, we discussed mainly, and 7th verse we just started. Briefly, we just talked about that verse, and we'll be continuing from text number 7 onwards. So, chapter starts with Sanjay's description to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna, having said, "I do not want to fight," he has sat down in the seat of his chariot, completely under lamentation. Right, and then Krishna speaks to Arjuna as a friendly manner, not as a teacher. He has not started instructing yet. So Krishna is giving a pep talk in one sense, giving some of the positive attributes about Arjuna, that you belong to a very high class family. You are the son of Kunti. You are Parantapa, right? Who can defeat his enemies. So Krishna tried to inspire Arjuna for doing his duty. But at the same time, Krishna is chastising Arjuna also, addressing him with some negative addresses as Kalebhyam, as a Napunsak, right? As that you have lost your Kshatriya capability, that you are behaving like somebody which you are not. How have you become like that? From where this weakness of heart has come into you? So in that way, Krishna is trying to inspire Arjuna by giving him the fear of infamy. If you do not do your duty, nobody will respect you. Your fame will be lost. So in that way, Krishna is talking to Arjuna. And now finally, what does Arjuna addresses Krishna? So that is text number 7, where finally Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. He wants to give up that friendly talk. He wants to change the relationship. Now he wants to become a student, accepting Krishna as a teacher. So the 7th verse is very important, and everybody should try to memorize this verse. So we're going to recite this verse, and if somebody else want to recite, you are welcome. Karpanya doshopahata swabhava prachami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. If anybody would like to recite, please go ahead.
May I
Yes, Mataji.
Karpanya doshopahata svabhava prakshami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yakshe hayasinitam rohitanme sisistaham sadhimam tvam prapannam.
Okay, very nice. Anybody else? Amlan Prabhu, Prasad Prabhu. Okay, so we'll recite it one more time. Karpanya doshopahata swabhava prachhamitam dharma sammudha cheta yachrayasya nishchitam bruhitanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So what is Arjuna saying here? Karpanya dosho. Karpanya means, there are two different meaning used here. Karpanya means I have become miserly. Karpanya dosh means miserly weakness. Because of this miserly weakness, I have lost all composure. So bhava, I have forgot about my nature. Prachhami tvam, now I'm asking you. Dharma sammudha cheta, because I'm confused about my duty. I've become confused about my dharma. So the meaning of dharma here is, what is my real duty? So Arjuna is saying, I have forgot about my duty. I have become confused about my duty. Yat Shreya Syan Nishchitam Bruhitan me. Please tell me for certain what is best for me. Shreyas. Shishyasteham. Now I am your disciple. Shadimam. Please instruct me. Tvam Prapannam. Now I am surrendered unto you. So that is this verse where Arjuna is saying, now I'm confused about my duty and I have lost all composure. I have lost my nature, my swabhav, because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you, please tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple. I'm surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So we mentioned last time also, intelligence is to know what to do when you don't know what to do, right? So when we are confused about our duty, the best thing is to approach somebody who can give us guidance. So at least we should know that much. We should use that much intelligence to approach somebody for guidance. So that is the right intelligence. So here we will use some of these words mentioned in the verse and discuss in detail about those words. So first thing is karpanya dosha, miserly weakness. So in scriptures, there are two words used, kripna and brahmana. What is the difference? Kripna is somebody who does not know how to use what we have. If, for example, somebody has wealth, but they don't use that wealth. Somebody has intelligence, but they don't use that intelligence. Somebody has physical strength, but they don't use their physical strength. So when somebody has something and they don't use that particular thing, then that person is known as kripna. Like miserly person, kanjus. For example, somebody may be a very wealthy person. He has billions of dollars in his bank, in his locker, but he just locks up everything, locks up the whole money, and he is living like a pauper, right? He is living like a beggar. He does not spend anything on himself and doesn't give anything to anybody, to his family also, or anything in charity also. So that person is known as a miser, a kanjus. So that is one meaning of kripana. Now, same way, we talked about three things, right? Wealth, intelligence, and physical strength. So somebody may have these things, but somebody doesn't use. So here Arjuna, why he is addressing himself as kripana? Not that he is not utilizing his wealth, not that he is not utilizing his intelligence, but he is not utilizing his strength. He has physical strength. He is a kshatriya. He is a very powerful warrior. He is addressed as parantapa, जो अपने शत्रु को तपा तपा कर मारे. But he is not utilizing his ability, but he is acting opposite. He is saying, I will live like a beggar. I will go door to door beg rather than engaging in this war. So he's going against his nature. So kshatriya, karpanya dosho. So that is Arjuna's problem. He has become miser in terms of utilizing his strength. And in this world also, we see there are many people who have the intelligence, but they don't utilize that intelligence and just live like a fool. Human beings, as human beings, we have been given a very special ability, and that ability is to inquire, right? If we say, what is the biggest difference between animals and humans? What makes us special than animals? What is that? Anybody?
Reasoning.
Our consciousness and ability to think and reason out,
Okay, our ability to
logical
think and
mind
do the reasoning,
and inquiry.
inquiry.
Inquisitiveness or inquiry. Yeah.
Yes. So Chitra Mataji, Satish Prabhu, both are saying the reasoning power, the ability to inquire. Vijay Prabhu also said reasoning power, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So yes, that is one, our ability to inquire, right? That's what makes human different from animals. But there is one more thing actually which makes human different than animals. That is even a bigger difference, because sometimes discrimination power is there in animals also. It may not be to the same level as human being. They also have discrimination power, right? They also know when and how to defend themselves. They also do that reasoning. When somebody try to get closer, if you try to go closer to the little puppies of a dog, the dog will also try to protect its puppies, right? They will show their claws and they will start barking as you get closer to them. So they also utilize their discrimination, their reasoning. But there is one more thing which makes humans different than animals. What is that?
Yeah. They act on instincts or something.
प्रभु
That
जी, is it
they,
धर्म धर्म विहीन जैसे बोलते हैं प्रभु, इट्स लाइक पशु के समान होते हैं.
right. So dharam vahina pashubhi samana. So that is there. So because they cannot inquire, that's what it's mentioned as dharma vahina. They are not given with the higher intelligence to inquire. So the another difference between animals and human is animals cannot control. Humans have the ability to control, right? As Satish Prabhu said, they work based on instinct. So they immediately act out based on that particular urge. They have the urge to eat, they immediately want to eat. They cannot control. Human is given with the ability to control on the urges. We can control on our eating. We can fast. Animals cannot fast. Unless there is no food, they are forced to fast. But human has that control on the urges, right? For example, even engaging in the sexual activities. Animals, they don't have any discrimination. They will engage on the street immediately. They will work based on their instinct. But human has been given with this higher intelligence and ability to control. So that's what makes humans different than animals. Now, human has that higher ability to control, to inquire. But if the human being does not utilize that ability, utilize his higher intelligence, then the human being is also considered equal to animals, right? That's why this very famous verse of Mahabharata, which says, ahar nidra bhaya mathunam cha samanyam etat pashubhi naranam. These activities are common between humans and animals: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But what makes human different than animals? That is the ability to inquire. And without that, human is like an animal, like a two-legged animal. Dharmena hina pashubhi samana. So dvipada pashu. So here, what we are talking about is the point of kripna. Who is considered as a kripna? Who does not utilize his wealth, does not utilize his strength, or does not utilize his intelligence. So if the human beings do not utilize their higher intelligence and engage on the lower urges, they are also considered kripna. That is the karpanya dosha. We have been given, but if we don't use that, for example, there is a story. Once a person fell into a well and people were coming. He was shouting, please save me, please save me, please pull me out of this well. People are going and asking him, please give your hand, we'll pull you out. and this person is not giving his hand. And people are now confused, like how to pull him out of the well. Then another person came there. He knew this person, or this person is a very miser person. He doesn't give anything to anybody, and everybody saying, give us your hand, give us your hand. And this word giving does not register into his mind. So he went and put his hand down and said, take my hand. And that person immediately held on to the hand and he was pulled out. So that is the nature sometime, that we are so miser, we don't want to give anything. That is our situation also, right? We want to go to Krishna and we just want to take from Krishna. We don't want to give to Krishna. We go to temple also. From temple also we want to just take. Temple is giving us so many facilities to come together in association of devotees. The facility of showering the flowers on the Lord, the facility of giving us so much prasadam. So if somebody is just going and taking and not giving anything, that's like a miser. So yeah, Kripna is absorbed in a bodily consciousness, not utilizing the human form of life, not inquiring about the goal of life, but thinks this body and the people related to this body to be everything, right? Somehow this Kripna, he thinks I am this body and everything related to my body is mine, aham mameti, and they will be able to protect me in the time of danger. Our opposite to Kripna is somebody called Brahmana. Who is a Brahmana? One who understands the real goal of life. He utilizes his intelligence for inquiring about the goal of life and acting on that particular level. So Karpanya dosho. The next very important word used in this verse is Shreyas. So we talked about that earlier also, Shreyas and Prayas. Right? The difference, what is the difference in this word Prayas and Shreyas? Anybody would like to summarize? We have talked about it earlier. Nobody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Prayas
Prasad.
is what is good for you, and prayas is what you like, basically. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
that
it's
is
not
correct.
necessarily a good thing, but yeah, it's something that you may want at that moment.
Right. So that is the difference in Shreyas and Prayas. So Prayas is something which you like, which you want to enjoy as a short-term benefit, right? Which you want as a short-term benefit, but Shreyas is something which is good for you in long term. So that is the difference in Shreyas and Prayas. So for example, the child, he want to play, right? He just want to have fun. He want to play. And the parents may tell, now it's time for you to stop playing and study, because you need to study, you need to pass this exam. So give up your toys, give up your playing, and now focus on your study. But the child doesn't want. Child wants short-term enjoyment. And he is not worried about his long-term, what is good for him in long term. So that is the difference in Shreyas and Prayas. So in this world also, all of us are in that boat only. We are thinking of Prayas, a short-term benefit, what we like in short run. And we don't worry about our long-term goal, long-term benefit. Right? We talk about following the 4 regulative principle, but people, they don't want to follow those 4 regulative principle because they want short-term enjoyment. They don't look for the long-term benefit, long-term goal, that if we engage in these sinful activities, that is going to cause so much sinful reaction for us, and it is going to cause further bondage for us in this material world. But people engage in those activities and ultimately they are at the loss. So not understanding the difference in Shreyas and Prayas. So Arjuna is telling Krishna, please tell me what is really best for me, right? What is in my best interest? Because Arjuna was saying, oh, I don't want to fight, because if I fight, this will happen, that will happen, that will happen. We will lose the enjoyment, even if we gain the whole world. what is the enjoyment after killing all our relatives, and it will lead to sinful reaction. So Arjuna was using his logic and giving all these reasons, but finally he surrendered to Krishna. That was the good thing he did, that he approached Krishna, please instruct me what is best for me in long term, what is in my best interest. So Shreyas and Prayas. Now the next thing is Swabhava, acting based on our nature or acting against our nature. Because one's nature is very hard to change. Even though sometimes we may circumstantially also act against our nature, but it's very difficult to give up our nature. Arjuna was saying, I will give up this fighting and go live on begging. So he want to give up his nature as a Kshatriya. But Krishna in his mind is thinking, now you don't want to fight. Later on, while begging, if somebody insults you, that you are such a heavy build, right? You are strong body, and why you are engaging in begging, go do some hard work. And that time, if you get angry and you kill that person, then what is the use? Better you engage based on your nature now. As a your Kshatriya duty, you perform your Kshatriya duty now. So giving up our nature is very difficult. Somebody has, I mentioned this point actually many times on one-on-one discussion also, I mentioned to few devotees. See, in this world, why there is so much of job dissatisfaction, right? People try to go into one job, they are not satisfied, they give up that and then get into another job. Why this job dissatisfaction is there? Because we are working against our nature. Somebody by nature is maybe good into teaching, but you are working as a production manager, production engineer, or some software engineer. It doesn't get into your nature, and you don't feel that compatibility, and that gives to job dissatisfaction. But when we come to Krishna consciousness, in temple there are so many activities there where we can do based on our real nature. Somebody is good at doing play drama, somebody is good at music, somebody is good at cooking. You can really act based on your nature, and that's why you feel that inner fulfillment, inner happiness in Krishna consciousness, right? At job, no matter how much you work hard and how much you try to gain, ultimately it leads to frustration and dissatisfaction, because we are acting against our nature. So bhava is very difficult to give up. Now, it's very much relevant from the pastimes of Mahabharata also, from the storyline of Mahabharata. We know during the 1 year of incognito, right, when Pandavas have to live 1 year in incognito, without kind of revealing their identity. So at that time, the Pandavas, when they were entering into this 1 year, they had a meeting. All the 5 Pandavas, Draupadi, they had a meeting. How do we hide ourselves? How do we kind of stay at place where nobody can recognize us? So Yudhishthira said, I will maybe go to some kingdom and become as a advisor of the king. Right? I will tell I was working for Maharaj Yudhishthira. Now he has lost everything and I have lost my job. Earlier I used to play the, what do you call that game of dice, right? Game of dice, Chaucer. So I used to play Chaucer with Maharaj Yudhishthira, and I was teaching the people of his kingdom how to throw pasa, how to throw the dice. So I will go and take that job. Bhima came with the proposal, I will go and act as a rasoiya, as a cook. So I will take up the job of a cook. Because Bhima was very fond of eating, he will go so much time into kitchen, and he had learned cooking also. And then Arjuna. Now Arjuna had a curse which acted as a in his favor, blessing in disguise, because he got a curse from Urvashi that you will become a unak, right? That you will become as a napunsak for 1 year. So that particular curse acted in his favor. He thought, I will go and act as become a dance teacher. Brihannala. Now Nakul said, with the mercy of the Lord, I have been this ability to work to deal with horses. So I will become the horse caretaker. I will take a job in Gurshal, Astabal. And then Sahadev said, I have the ability to work with cows and bulls. I can recognize the different breeds of cows, and I can identify by taking the medicinal property, like all the products of cows, what cow can give which product, which even if a banj lady, what do you call as a sterile woman, if she takes that she will also bear a child. So that much ability Sahadev had. So they all identified what will we do. And then Draupadi, how will she hide herself? She said, I will go, maybe I will become as a servant, maid servant of the queen. I will tell that I was the close associate of Draupadi. Now they all have lost their kingdom. I also have lost my job, so I can act as your maid servant. I am very good at making the face packs, the angrak. So I will take up that job. So they all went into this Matsya Raj, Virat, the king of Matsya, whose king was Maharaj Virat, and they all took up these jobs. Now we know when the 1 year was about to complete and Kichak was killed by Bhima, ultimately he could not resist his nature as a Kshatriya and he killed Kichak. And Duryodhana was already on a hunt to find Pandavas. And they got this doubt, these Pandavas must be in Matsyaraj under the care of King Virat. So they made a plan to reveal their identity, to find them. So they attacked and they took the help of one other neighboring king also who was envious towards King Virat. So this person, they started stealing the cows. They took 100,000 cows from Virat Desh. They started dragging the cows. The news came to the king that somebody is stealing all our cows. So the king, with all his army, with all the soldiers, he went behind them. Now on the other side, Duryodhana with his whole army now attacked on Matsyaraj. Nobody else is there. Only king's son, right? The Prince Uttar, Prince Uttar was there. So somebody came to him that you have to do something, otherwise they will attack on the kingdom. So he said, only if I had a chariot driver, I could go and fight single-handedly with this whole army. I can defeat the whole army. Only I need a chariot driver. And immediately Draupadi proposed, you can take Brihanala. She is a very good chariot driver. Even Arjuna actually sometimes took Brihanala with him. So Brihanala immediately came. Arjuna basically that, yes, I can help you in that. I will take your chariot in the middle of the army and then you can defeat everybody. So Uttar, he took the chariot. Arjuna was driving as Brihanala. He was driving the chariot. As they approached the army, Uttara, seeing this whole vast army, he was completely scared, fearful. Oh, I cannot fight with them. And he said, no, I want to just go back. I cannot face them. Arjuna had not stopped the chariot. He jumped out of the running chariot and started running back. So Arjuna stopped the chariot, pulled this Uttar and put him back on the chariot. He said, okay, do one thing. Actually, I will fight on your behalf and you just drive my chariot. So Arjuna could not resist to protect the kingdom of Matsya. He could not resist his real nature of being a Kshatriya. When there is a danger on that kingdom who has given them shelter, they were not able to resist their nature because they were the Kshatriyas, the warriors. They could not see this harm coming to their protector. So that is the point which is mentioned here, Swabhava, right? It's very difficult to give one's real nature. Even though we may act against our nature, either ultimately it will lead to dissatisfaction and we cannot maintain that opposite Swabhava for a long time. Like just a very general example, if you put a costume of a king on a dog and put him on the throne, how long he can pull up that, right? Ultimately, somebody throws a bone in front of the dog. He is going to jump from that throne and start licking that bone, because he cannot give up his real nature of being a dog and act based on that nature. So swabhava, to give up that swabhava is very difficult. Even we give up that swabhava circumstantially, but ultimately that swabhava will come out in our nature, in our activity. And dharma sammudha, bewildered about my dharma, bewildered about my duty. So if we are in a problem, when we are bewildered, what we should do? We should approach somebody who is not bewildered, right? Who can give us counsel, who can give us guidance. If we are in a problem, to come out of the problem, we need help from outside. A problem cannot be solved with the same consciousness, with the same mindset which has led us to that problem. Because our thought process is such, because of that we went into that problem. So with the same thought process, how we can come out of that problem? So we need to approach somebody who is outside. For example, if somebody falls into a quicksand. Now, if somebody has fallen into quicksand, how he can come out of the quicksand? Can he come out by his own strength? If he try to move his body, he'll try to move his arms and legs, what will happen? He will enter more deeper into that quicksand. Right? So to come out of that quicksand, we need help from outside. Somebody who is outside of quicksand, he throws a rope to us, we hold on to that rope, and then that person pulls us out, then we can come out of that quicksand. So same way, to come out of a problem in life, we need help from outside. Somebody who is in the right state of mind, in the right consciousness. So dharma sammuda, when we are bewildered about our duty, approaching somebody. So for basically, no sort of material problem can be solved by same level of material consciousness. We try to solve one problem and we create so many other problems. Lack of food. World want to solve the problem of lack of food. They think there is lack of food and we want to genetically modify the food and make it into bigger sizes. Like genetically modified food. They want to inject the DNA of one thing into another and change the shape and size and taste. But that is creating so many other problems. Right? With their consciousness, with their mindset, they are trying to solve problem, but they are creating many other problems. Because of this genetically modified food, there are so many newer and newer diseases coming up. So many allergies are coming up. Like people have nuts allergy, they have wheat allergy, they have milk and allergy. So many type of allergies are there, which were unheard of earlier. So with trying to solve one problem, we create so many other problems. Now, there is another example is now to fight with one disease, they try to make vaccine. They try to make one vaccine for one disease, but by giving that vaccine, people are developing further some other disease which is unknown to them yet. It is causing so many other disease. Let's say this vaccine for COVID also, for many people, it has caused so many other problems. The over fatigue and some other heart related problems. And so many of the side effects which is caused by a vaccine. So we try to solve one problem, but we enter into many other problems. So that is the nature of this world, because we are acting at a different level of consciousness, not going to a source which can give us the solution for that problem. So this material world is full of perplexities. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport of this verse that this material world is full of perplexities. There is full of disturbances which come by itself. Nobody wants the problems, but still the problems come uninvited. That's why this material world is called as Sansara Davanal. a forest fire, because in a forest, the fire does not happen by somebody has to put that fire. The forest fire happen automatically. That's why this material world is also called as Sansara Davanal, forest fire. It's not a campfire. It's not a fire of the cremation ground, because campfire somebody has to lit. In a cremation, somebody has to put that dead body on fire. But forest fire happens automatically. So same way in this material world also, so many problems comes uninvited. We are not asking for the problem, but they come. And sometimes this forest fire goes on for days and even months also. In California side, there have been so many cases of forest fire which goes on for days and days, and it causes so much of destruction. In our life also, so many problems come, and if we don't know how to solve the problem, then it causes so much of anxiety, so much of frustration, so much of pain in our life. So to know what to do when we don't know what to do, that is real intelligence. So Arjuna at least showed that intelligence. Shishyasteham, I am your disciple now. So the word Shishya, actually it comes from the root word Shash. Shash means Shashan Karna. Shishya means somebody who is ready to be disciplined, who is ready to be ruled. Shashan in one sense has a negative connotation, like somebody is ruling over by force on somebody. But here the word Shishya means somebody who is ready to be ruled voluntarily by somebody, who is ready to be disciplined by somebody. That is Shishya. So Shishyasteham, Arjuna changed the role now. Earlier he was in Sakhyaras. Now Arjuna has decided to take to Dasyaras, Dasya Bhav. Earlier he was a friend, now he has become a disciple. Disciple means he has to serve the Guru. Right? That is disciple. So he has changed his rasa from Sakhya rasa to Dasya rasa, because Dasya rasa is more stable and it's more safer mode. So he's changing to a safe mode, being as a servant, as a das. Like in computer also, if I don't know how much it's true now in this latest operating systems, but earlier I know when we had Windows 98 and all, sometimes the computer has a problem and you restart the computer in a safe mode to change some of the settings. Right? So changing to the safe mode. So here Arjuna is changing to safe mode, changing to Dasya Bhav. He is accepting himself as a disciple, surrendering to Krishna. Shadi Mam, please instruct me. I am ready to listen to you now. Earlier, Arjuna has been speaking. Arjuna अपना भाषण देते जा रहे हैं, and Krishna is just listening. So now Arjuna is saying, I will stop my chit chat. Now please you speak. आप अपना भाषण दीजिए अभी. So please instruct me. Shadhi Mam, Tvam Prapannam. I am surrendered unto you. Now I am fully dependent on you. Prachami Tvam. I am asking you. So finally, Arjuna has taken the role of a student. Now, that is the importance of accepting a guru. Guru-disciple relationship is based on love and dependence. Right? There is no sabotage mentality that somebody want to misuse other person. This is out of pure love and dependence. Like the fish and water. Fish is dependent on water. And fish like to be in the water. Calf and cow. Calf is dependent on cow and cow has love towards the calf. So there is a mutual love and dependence on each other. And Arjuna is exhibiting all these qualities which are required for a good disciple. He was making a submissive inquiry. He is showing the surrender. Surrender means a service attitude. Right? These are the qualities which are needed of a disciple, because Krishna also tells that later in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, approach a bona fide spiritual master and inquire from him. Paripatena pariprashnena sevaya. Fell at the feet of Guru, inquire from him, pariprashnena, and sevaya, render service. So Arjuna is doing same thing. He is falling in front of Krishna, I am surrendering unto you. He is inquiring submissively, and he is ready to take the role of a servant as a disciple. So we have talked about it, why we need a guru, who is a guru, who is not a guru, right? Why we need a guru? Because we need to give up our freedom mentality, our independent mentality, and approach somebody to gain right knowledge from them. And who is not a guru, who is a guru, we should have that understanding also. It's not based on some external bodily aspect or some showing some grammatical scholarly attributes. He is a very scholar in Sanskrit or something. Those are not the attribute of being a guru. And guru is not just out of a custom as a family tradition that वो हमारे राजगुरु हैं, वो हमारे कुल गुरु हैं, वो हमारी family के गुरु हैं, so we also accept that person as our guru. So it's not like that. It's not out of a custom, out of a family tradition, or accepting somebody as a guru who has some sort of mystic power, who can show some magic, show some trick. These are not the qualifications of being a guru. Who is a guru in real sense? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Kene Hai Kene Naya Yei Krishna Tattva Veti Sei Guru Hoy. Kibe Vipra. Doesn't matter if somebody is a Brahmana, Kibe Sannyasi, or somebody is a sannyasi in a renounced order of life, or Shudra Kene Naya, or somebody is in a low class family status, Shudra. Yei Krishna Tattva Veti. If somebody knows Krishna Tattva, somebody understands Krishna by reality, in reality, by Tattva, Sei Guru Hoya. That person is eligible to become a guru. And then there is another very important verse which talk about that. It comes in Padma Purana. Sat Karma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharada Avaishnavo Guru Nasyad Vaishnava Swapacho Guru. What does this verse mean? If there is a very scholarly Brahmana, Sat Karma Nipuno Vipra, very Nipun Vipra, very qualified, he is expert in the subject matter of knowledge. Mantra Tantra Visharada, right? He is very qualified in reciting Mantra Tantra. A Vaishnavo, Guru Nasyad. But if he is not a Vaishnava, if he is not surrendered to the Supreme Lord, he is not eligible to become a guru. So it's not based on some material qualification that somebody knows many verses, he is a good at Sanskrit grammar and all that. That is not the qualification to become a guru. Vaishnava Swapacho Guru. Even if somebody is born in a low class family, in the family of dog eaters, but if he is a Vaishnava, and that person has become a Vaishnava, he has given up all those tendencies now and has submitted to the Supreme Lord, he is qualified to be a guru. So that is the statement from Padma Purana. So we need to understand who to be considered as a guru and who is not a guru. Guru is somebody who comes in a Guru Parampara as a disciplic succession. He follows the scriptures, the instruction of scripture, and apply those teachings in his life. He is a devotee of the Lord. He can explain to others about the message of the Lord as Krishna Tattva. And ultimately, he has control over his mind and senses. Right? He follows the regulative principle. He is able to control the urges, Vacho Vegam, Manasah Krodha Vegam. So he can control all these urges of the body and mind. That person is eligible to become a guru. So in this case, Arjuna is showing by his example that one should approach a guru to solve the problems of life. And in our case, we want to approach for guidance, but a lot of time we get misguided. right? But with Krishna's mercy, we have come to the right place where we can get the right knowledge and right information and how to practically apply in our lives also. So Krishna has led us to a place where we can really try to understand, associate with devotees and learn through them also. And Prabhupada has shown us the door for Krishna. And Prabhupada has taught us just keep ringing the bell to this door to Krishna. And what is that bell? Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if you go to somebody's house, right, you go to your friend, your relative's house, you are standing in front of their door and ringing the bell. For a few minutes, nobody comes at the door. Maybe they are busy at something, or they were in the basement of their house or somewhere. They could not come quickly. So you're ringing the bell, but nobody responded for a few minutes and you turn back. And in the meantime, while they were coming towards the door, you just stepped away. So that is our situation with Krishna also, right? Sometimes we become impatient with Krishna. We think, oh, I've been chanting for so many months. I've been chanting for years. I've been reading Bhagavad Gita, but I'm not understanding. And we become disappointed. We stop chanting. We give up the process. Right? That is our misfortune. That is the misfortune people who give up this process thinking, oh, this doesn't work. We have to keep ringing the bell. Krishna is just walking towards us, but we lose patience and we turn away. With patience, with that dhairya, we have to keep engaging in this process, keep chanting the holy name, keep listening to Krishna Katha, keep reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, keep associating with the devotees, and ultimately we will achieve Krishna Prema. Right? The steps are there. It starts with little Shraddha, Adho Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha. With that little Shraddha, we engage in the association of devotees. Then we engage in Bhajana Kriya. Tato Anartha Nivritti. When we engage in Bhajana Kriya, slowly, all our vices, all our anarthas from the heart will start going away. It's not that they will go away quickly. Now it's 100% and then it becomes 0%. So basically, the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, it's slowly going down. And the mode of goodness is increasing. More time out of the day, we are moving towards goodness. So this is happening, but we have to be patient and continue with that process. So that is the overall discussion, overall understanding from this verse 2.7, Karpanya Dosho. And then 2.8, I'll quickly go for next 2-3 verses briefly. So in next text 2.8, what is Arjuna saying? I cannot find any means to drive away my grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So Arjuna is giving his conclusion here that this lamentation, this grief is drying up my senses. My body is shaking, tears are coming from eyes. I have lost control on my senses. And I will not be able to dispel this grief, this lamentation, even if I win a kingdom like Swarga, like heaven, which is ruled by Indra. So the point to understand from this verse is, no matter how much we gain in this world, but we cannot get that real happiness. We cannot drive away all our misery, all our grief in this material world. There is always relative happiness in this world. Somebody may be very wealthy person, but can that wealthy person claim that he has got all the happiness of the world? He has no problem, no misery at all. We know people who have so much wealth, but still they have problem. Their problem may be different than our problems. Like even Indra has problems, even Brahma has problem. We may not be able to understand the problem of Indra. Indra may not be able to understand the problem of Brahma, but there is relativity. There is relative happiness and there is relative misery. Somebody living in Michigan here, or somebody living in California here, person living in Michigan, they may think, oh, so much snow here. There's so much misery here. Somebody living in California, living in Florida, they are peaceful, they are happy. And somebody living in Florida or California, they may have their different type of problems. Like California, people have water problems, so many forest fire problems, earthquake problems in different part of the world. So every part of the world, there is some other problem. So there is relative happiness and relative misery. So no matter how much physical arrangement is made, that cannot solve the problems which are at the mental level, at the emotional level. Somebody, two people may be staying in a very nice bungalow, very opulent home, all the facilities are there. But if they have mental level problems, if they have emotional problems between them, if they have relationship problem between them, no matter how much material opulence are there in that house, they cannot be happy. So all the physical arrangement cannot solve the problems at mental or emotional level. And Arjuna's problem was also same way. He has no physical problem. It's not that he has got physical disability. Right? He is very strong person, strong warrior. His problem is at emotional level. And many times our problems are also at the emotional level only. Maharaj Chitraketu, he was the king and he had nice palaces. He had 1 crore wives. So in reality, Maharaj Chitraketu was real crorepati. He had 1 crore wives, but still he was not happy because he had no son. So his problem was at emotional level. Nothing of this world could make him happy. So in this world, no matter how much we try for happiness, we cannot drive away our grief, our dissatisfaction, our misery. There will be always some or other problem in this world. And what to do in that situation? We have to follow in the footstep of Arjuna to approach a bona fide guru, approach Krishna or a representative of Krishna who can give us the real guidance. So in the next text 2.9, Sanjay is again further summarizing to Dhritarashtra. Sanjay said, Gudakesha spoke to Rishikesha. Arjuna has spoken to Krishna. What did he speak? Hey Govinda, I shall not fight. And after speaking this, that chastiser of enemies, Parantapa, he became silent. So this is what Sanjay is narrating to Dhritarashtra. Now Sanjay is describing that after speaking to Krishna, Arjuna sat down again. I should not fight. And Dhritarashtra may be happy that Arjuna is not going to fight. There is victory. Our victory is certain. Let's start preparing for Rajyabhishek. Duryodhana is going to become the king finally. So he may be happy in his heart. But Sanjay, he uses the word Parantapa. He uses the word Gudakesha. Why he is using these words? Because Parantapa is chastiser of enemies, जो अपने शत्रु को तपा तपा कर तड़पा कर मारे. And Gudakesha means, in one sense it means somebody who has won over his sleep, but actually it means one who has won over his ignorance. So for moment being, Arjuna has put into this ignorance. He has lost his Kshatriya spirit. But Krishna is also addressed here as Rishikesha, as Govinda. Rishikesha is somebody who is the master of senses. So Arjuna has lost control over his senses. He has gone into this ignorance. But Krishna, he is the controller of the senses. He is going to remove the ignorance of Arjuna and reinstate him in his position of Gudakesha, reinstate him in his position of Parantapa. That is the context of using these words here, how Sanjay is describing the situation of Arjuna and Krishna here. So in text 2.10, Tamuvacha Rishikesha Prasanneva Bharata Sainyor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantam Idam Vachah. O descendant of Bharata. Again, this verse is still spoken by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjay is addressing Dhritarashtra as descendant of Bharata. O descendant of Bharata means Dhritarashtra. Thereafter, in the midst of both armies, Shri Krishna smilingly spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Vishidantam idam vacha. So Krishna spoke these words to grief-stricken Arjuna. So why Krishna is smiling? Why Krishna is presented here as he's smiling and now speaking to Arjuna? Because Krishna is smiling for two reasons. One is looking at the situation of Arjuna, because in the beginning, Arjuna had told Krishna very confidently, take my chariot in the middle of both armies. He was very confident. He just wanted to see who all have come here. But after seeing, he became bewildered. So Krishna is smiling at the situation of Arjuna. And the second reason is Arjuna has now chosen to become the disciple. So Krishna is smiling at this bhav of Arjuna, at this decision of Arjuna, that he has taken a different role now. Krishna was not giving any advice till now. Krishna gives advice only when somebody is requesting for advice. He is not forcing his advice on somebody. In our case, we give advice freely. We give advice as we breathe. Right? Somebody has come to us and they're just telling us their problem. They just want to share the content of their heart, but we start immediately giving advice. Oh, I think you should do this or you should do that. Sometimes wife comes to the husband and wife want to just kind of dump all her emotions, right? Just tell what all has happened, and immediately husband start giving so many suggestions. Oh, you should do this or do that. Sometimes people just need a shoulder to cry on. They are not asking for your input, your advice, but we directly jump and start giving our advice. So we should learn from Krishna here. Krishna did not give advice until Arjuna asked for advice. Right? Earlier it was just a friendly talk, but now the situation has changed. Now Arjuna has surrendered and Krishna is also immediately accepting that role. And from 2.11 onwards, Krishna, accepting the role of a guru, he starts speaking. And as soon as he starts speaking in the role of a guru, guru means heavy. He very heavily speaks to Arjuna, kind of pointing at his mistake, telling Arjuna that you are speaking like a very learned person. You think you are a man of wisdom, but you are speaking like a fool because you are lamenting for something which is not worthy of lamentation. So Krishna immediately chastises Arjuna, addressing him as a fool. So we will discuss text 11 onwards in the next session, what Krishna starts to speak to Arjuna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Okay, so thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, comments, we can discuss that.
Prabhu, in today's lecture, you were talking about the difference between humans and animals, ability to inquire, and the second thing that you told was ability to control.
Yes.
So ability to control our emotions, or
Ability to control the urges of mind and senses. So which includes emotions also. right? Because that is related to mind.
Mhm.
So ability to control the urges.
And then, Prabhu, when we were talking about Arjuna,
Mhm.
we talked about his wealth, intelligence, and strength. And initially, you said he was lacking in strength, but wasn't he also lacking in intelligence?
No. So what we are saying is Arjuna has the right intelligence. He has the right physical ability, but he's not utilizing his physical ability. That's why he's covered up. He's addressing himself as that he is covered up with this fault of karpanya dosha, right? He has been covered up with this miserly weakness. He himself is understanding his situation and addressing himself as a miser, that I have given up this ability. I'm acting against my nature. So he has the right ability, but not utilizing his ability.
Okay. So basically, you attribute it towards his strength because he has the ability, but he doesn't utilize it.
Right. So our point of discussion was also somebody miser. Who is a miser? Miser is somebody who has the ability, but who does not utilize that. Somebody has the wealth, he does not utilize the wealth. Somebody has the intelligence, but he does not utilize his intelligence. Somebody has the physical strength, but he does not utilize his physical strength. So these are all signs of being a miser.
So wouldn't you also say that from his intelligent point of view, that
Yes, from intelligence point of view, see, he has the right intelligence, but he is being covered up by the ignorance. He is making decision based on emotions,
Mhm.
right? He's utilizing wrong logics. So sometimes people get stuck up with just the external rules and regulations of the scripture, and they don't understand what is the purpose behind them. So same way, Arjuna is also quoting many things from scriptures. Oh, elders should not be treated in this way or that way. So he's externally quoting the statements of scriptures, but without understanding the real intent behind that, the purpose behind that.
Mm.
So he is utilizing his intelligence in a wrong way.
Okay.
And
Thank
why
you.
we were comparing humans with animals also, that we are not utilizing our real intelligence which is given to us, the ability to inquire about the goal of life, the purpose of life. And if we just keep living for the basic necessities of life, then we are working at the level of animals, right? We are acting at the level of animals.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Amlan Prabhu.
Yeah, when you asked for chanting, I was driving. Sorry about that, Prabhu.
Right? Ask for chanting.
Yeah, in the beginning, Kalpandadasha Pavatasha, that sloka.
Oh, to chant the shloka. Okay.
Yeah, I was driving.
You
So,
can chant now.
Kalpandadasha Pavatasha Ichamitam Dharma Samucheda Yastreya Sarnisitam Rohitanme Shishastayam Shadimam Tam Prabhu.
Okay.
Okay, so in connection with the Skanda Prabhu's question, I was also thinking that Arjuna's situation of Arjuna was basically he was scared of the war and seeing his own relative, and he was actually emotionally he was very upset
Mm-hmm.
that he cannot he don't want to. It doesn't directly feel to me that he was lacking strength. He was not willing to kill his relative. It was an
Right.
emotional problem basically.
Right.
He was not emotionally stable.
Right.
So that's what it sounds to me. So I was not sure that Karpunno here in this case is strength or it is his emotional balance.
Right. So
Basically.
his
That's what I was thinking.
emotional balance out of his intelligence. So that's what I'm saying. Why he's addressing himself as Karpanya, because he is not utilizing his ability, what he has. He has the physical strength. It's not that he's lacking physical strength. He has the right intelligence also, but he is using intelligence in a different way. He is emotionally covered up. His intelligence is covered because of his high emotions. So that's why he is addressing himself as covered by the weakness of miserly weakness, kripana.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Amalan Prabhu, Skanda Prabhu. Anybody else? Anything? Okay, if not, then we will end it here. Okay, thank you very much. And Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.